picture this. You're mining, playing Steve like usual, and oh no, your shovel broke. When this happens, you need to craft a new set of tools. You know, if you're a coward. Real gamers can do this. And this. Wait, is he gonna stop doing this, or? Oh man, looks like he's stuck down there, and he's gonna need you to subscribe to set him free. Hey everyone, it's me, Waidu, back with another quick Steve guide, this time about mining. Now, since it's half of Minecraft, I think we all expected mining to be an important move with a lot of detail put into it, and we knew it was going to be a little bit whack too. However, I don't think anyone was expecting the sheer caliber of whack this move ended up being, so today I'd like to share my favorite quirks, tricks, and interactions with this move. First up, we have mining in midair. Now, as you might be aware, if you try to mine a block that you place in midair with Steve, all it does is destroy the block. It doesn't actually give you any resources, like as if you were mining on the ground. And it makes sense why they did this. I mean, it would be kind of ridiculous balance-wise if Steve could just hole up on top of the opponent and then start mining, which is kind of funny because he totally can. All you gotta do is put down TNT, it counts as a surface, and you're totally allowed to mine the TNT for resources all you want. So kind of a little exploit, but I love it. It's a lot of fun to just hole up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen and put down your TNT, especially because you'll notice that when you stand on a block, it makes it destroy quicker. Basically, it just gets rid of the block. But if there's TNT in between you and the block, look, it's not breaking the block, it's only mining the TNT. So you can stall for a surprisingly large amount of time, all while collecting resources. An absolute nightmare to deal with. But, you know, as Steve, my goal is to be a nightmare. Next up, we have TNT being mined with a pickaxe. So, Steve was designed with the idea of, hey, you have to use your tools' durability both to attack and to mine, right? For the pickaxe and the axe, do you want to mine resources with your pickaxe, or do you want to use it for forward airs, or your axe for up airs? The shovel kind of skirts around this. You can kind of just mine without having to worry about that, but it still breaks, and then you have to use your hands, and it's very slow. So the idea is that you're supposed to craft tools, and you're able to mine again, but strangely enough, even if this stage requires you to use your shovel or an axe, you can actually put down TNT and just mine it with a pickaxe, and it works totally fine, effectively giving you twice the durability for any set of tools. So what I personally think this is going to be really good for is when you're on a stage like Smashville or Town and City that you have to use an axe to mine for resources, and you get a diamond. So normally, it's a really hard decision to make. Am I going to use my axe to hit people up, or am I going to use my axe for mining resources? Because you'll find yourself in situations where you want to use your axe and you want to attack people, but you also have no iron. You're out of mine carts and anvils, and you know that if you want to mine those resources, you're going to be wasting away your up airs and up tilts too. So this exploit kind of gives you a lot more agency in terms of how you want to get your resources. You can choose to spend your forward air and back air durability instead. Also, if you want to do the tech, just a quick little tip, you can mine either from on top of the block or to the side of it, but you can actually put down the TNT, wait a little bit, and then start mining, and even though you're on the pressure plate, it won't blow up, so it's a really effective way to get resources when you don't want to waste your axe. And you might have noticed something else weird about what happens when I try to mine TNT on Smashville. If you look closely, normally when I mine with the axe, it's just wood, a little bit of iron, some redstone. But if I mine my TNT, well now suddenly I'm getting only iron and redstone. So they have different loot tables for the TNT and the stage itself. You can make your own iron block, which is very strange. And even stranger is the fact that this doesn't work on every stage. This actually works on only stages that have specialized loot tables. If it's a competitive stage that has like separate loot turned off, it doesn't work. So I'm going to go to Small Battlefield right now. This also works on FD, Small Battlefield, Omega Form stages, and Normal Battlefield. I'm going to mine my TNT. And remember, you literally just saw Steve mining iron and redstone from his TNT. Now look what happens. Suddenly, I'm getting a whole lot of wood and dirt as well. So the loot table, like, changes in between stages, which is very odd. I guess on stages like this where they made the drops more consistent, they just said, hey, everything you can mine becomes standard. And that applies to Pac-Man's Hydrant too. And that's the fourth thing I'd like to talk about today, which is Pac-Man's Hydrant. Yes, you can mine it. If I put down Pac-Man's Hydrant, and then I go ahead and mine it, as you can see, I'm getting the normal loot, the normal mining drops from this battlefield stage, nothing really too special. But now we're back on Smashville. Mining gives me wood. Pac-Man puts down a hydrant again. I try to mine it, and lo and behold, I'm getting iron and redstone from it. It's also basically an iron ore block. So there are so many strange mechanics, and that brings me to the last point of this video, which is even on different Omega Form stages, you use different tools to mine for resources. Even if the loot you get is always the same, the tool you use is different. And yes, this means that different Omega Form stages have different gameplay. On Battlefield, you have to waste your forward air and back air and dash attack just to mine for resources. But on FD, you do that with a shovel. This is something we haven't seen before in Smash. Omega Form stages have always been exactly the same, with the exception of there was a bug with Garreg Mach Monastery where the blast zones were a bit higher, and that got fixed, but nothing on this scale, because Steve's resources are a huge part of his game, and he has to mine for them all the time. On Final Destination, you're just gonna get more forward air and back air attempts per diamond. You saw clearly there that I went to Omega Final Destination, and even on Omega FD, still, I use my shovel for the same resources. So, this is something that definitely matters, and I don't know if it's important enough that it'll get into tournament rule sets, but I feel like it will eventually. That, like, you can only fight Steve on FD or Small Battlefield Omega or whatever stage. So, yeah, the impact of this remains to be seen. But it's clearly not a bug, and it seems to be here to stay. So I am looking forward to how this develops in the future. But yeah, that about wraps it up for this video. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be making a whole bunch of these little Steve guides as I find out more about the character. I honestly have never enjoyed a character this much before. He's very slow, very difficult to use, but when you get something going, it is just absolutely ridiculous. This character is just something else, for sure. I think that Steve, I can't even place him in a tier. I can't even give a tier placement. If I say top tier, he could end up bottom tier. If I say bottom tier, he could say top tier. He's fun. I'll say that. He is fun tier. That's a tier now. So yeah, get out there and get Steving.